So there is one question that I have for the Nintendo Switch Pro, or I guess revision according to these rumors. Will it upscale games to 4K that are already out? Imagine playing games like The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, Mario Odyssey, and even newer Nintendo Switch games like Bravely Default 2 in 4K, and still having the option for the portable version. This is actually a pretty big deal when you think about it, and great for those third-party games like The Witcher. Hey guys, it's Rob here, and welcome back to the Robo-chan Show, where we cover the latest gaming news, leaks, and rumors from Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo in 2020 and beyond. If you want to be kept up on the latest gaming news, make sure you click that red subscribe button below this video and that notification bell so you know when I upload. And if you're interested, I have a Patreon, which link to that will be in the pinned comment along with my Twitter account. In this video, we're going to talk about the recent Nintendo Switch Pro rumors. These new Nintendo Switch Pro rumors go into detail on what kind of screen we're going to have, the resolution, when we could see the Switch Pro release, and a lot more. Even how this could affect the current Nintendo Switch owners like me and you. So make sure you stick around to the end to hear all of the rumors. And by the way, a countdown will be in the corner of your screen to help you along. You're really not going to want to miss out on them. So the idea of a Nintendo Switch Pro has been around for a very long time, even way back when the original Nintendo Switch launched. But this past year, the rumors have been swirling out of control despite the current state of the world, which might I add is a lot better than the start of the pandemic. Stay safe out there, guys. But that aside, there are talks of 4K, better battery life, Nintendo going to screen manufacturers, and even them asking third-party developers to have Nintendo Switch games 4K ready. All of these rumors popping up in the last year. But this new Nintendo Switch Pro rumor kind of takes the cake out of all of them with all the details in it. So let's go over the new information that we have here and then talk about how this affects the current Nintendo Switch owners. Nintendo company plans to unveil a model of its Switch gaming console equipped with a bigger Samsung Oled display this year, hoping that the larger screen can prop up demand in time for the holidays. Samsung Display Corporation will start mass production of a 7-inch 720p resolution OLED panels as early as June, with the initial monthly target of just under 1 million units. Said the people who asked not to be identified, discussing internal matters. The displays are slated for shipment to assemblers around July, the people said. Representatives for Nintendo and Samsung Display declined to comment. So what this means is that the Nintendo Switch Pro will have a 7-inch 720 resolution, not too different from the current Nintendo Switch model, which is currently 6.2 inches and 720p. But the key difference here is that it's going to be OLED and not LCD. This would make the image much better on the Nintendo Switch Pro than the current models. Plus, the smaller screen would help with the 720p resolution, though it not being at least 1080p is a bit disappointment to me, but as you'll find later in this video, the dock mode will make up for that. For now, let's continue with this Nintendo rumor. Nintendo seeks to sustain a Switch lineup that continues to sell well against the Xbox and PlayStation thanks to the pandemic era breakout hits like Animal Crossing and a chip crunch that's plagued supply of rival devices. But the gadget is now in its 5th year, while Microsoft Corp and Sony Corp both have new and more powerful machines in the market. The gaming community has speculated online about the introduction of an OLED or organic light-emitting diode screen. But Nintendo has stayed mum, and President Shintaro Furukawa said in February his company has no plans to announce a new Switch anytime soon. Samsung's involvement is the strongest indication that Nintendo is serious about updating the console and on a large scale. So this is why I said back in February that it makes a lot of sense that Nintendo would want to deny the Nintendo Switch Pro rumors and speculation, even though a Switch Pro could be coming out later this year. And remember guys, these are still rumors, just rumors. But that aside, the Switch is selling massively well right now, and think about this, Nintendo still has 2 Pokemon games, Breath of the Wild 2, Bayonneta 3, No More Heroes 3, and whatever they have cooked up that we don't even know about, like maybe the Zelda 35th anniversary game. All of these will push the sales even higher, and with the Nintendo Switch Pro revision coming, if it is true, it's gonna compete with the PS5 and Xbox Series X on the resolution front, and still have that undocked mode as well. With that being said, let's continue with the rumors. The release of a premium version of Nintendo Switch's console with an OLED display and support for 4K graphics for holiday 2021 selling season could drive the company's sales above consensus for the fiscal year ending March 2022 and extend the life cycle of the Switch platform for many more years, says analysts Matthew Canterman and Nathan Naidu. I probably butchered those names, I'm really sorry about that. Nintendo decided to go with rigid OLED panels for the new model, the people said, a cheaper but less flexible alternative to the Type chip commonly used for high-end smartphones. The latest model will also come with 4K ultra high definition graphics when paired with TVs, they said. That could intensify the long-standing complaint of developers who have struggled with the difference in resolution between handheld and TV modes, and now face a bigger gap between the two. Now this is something that we've heard in the past, the difficulty of developers having to develop games for two different versions on the same console. With the resolution gap being so wide between the docked version and the portable version, I hope we don't see less ports from companies due to these difficulties. But I do have to say, on the consumer side of things, in other words me and you, this is actually great, and here's why. If like me you own a 4K TV, a PS5 or an Xbox Series X, or a 4K capable PC, and do eventually plan on getting a Nintendo Switch Pro, buying games for the Switch will be more enticing due to the portable aspect. And if you want to play on a 4K TV, you still can with the dock. But I think there's an important question that needs to be asked here. Will the Switch tax be higher now or not? Because some games do cost more on the Switch. I guess we're gonna have to wait and see. The deal benefits Samsung Display because market prices for the so-called rigid OLED panels have been falling due to excess supply. Winning a customer like Nintendo also helps a Korean giant, an affiliate of Samsung Electronic Corporation, firm up production plans. Nintendo in turn secures a valuable partner and supplier at a time semiconductor shortages are squeezing the supply of display-related components. The new display resolution mirrors the current Nintendo Switch and Switch Lite, but is an upgrade from the Switch's 6.2-inch and Lite 5.5-inch size. If the console's housing remains unchanged, the new Switch will likely sport a thinner bezel. So on that last sentence, they said it could likely sport a thinner bezel, which sets that black piece between the screen and the actual Nintendo Switch. This could mean that it won't really change too much significantly aesthetic-wise. Rest in peace all the thumbnails that have these super cool looking Switches, I guess. So by Nintendo choosing the cheaper option of OLED and getting them for what I would assume is a cheaper price due to the excess amount of displays Samsung has, this could work in Nintendo's favor and ours as well. One of the concerns that many of us have is the price of this Nintendo Switch Pro or Nintendo Switch Revision. But with cheaper screens and hopefully cheaper parts in this revision, the price might not be that bad. My hope is that the price is gonna be $299 like the original Nintendo Switch, and that Switch will actually go down in price. But that's just wishful thinking. The ballpark is most likely $350 to $450 in my opinion, though the $450 is probably highly unlikely. That aside, here's why the rumor is great for current Nintendo Switch owners. If it is true that Nintendo plans on keeping us in the loop and we don't have to buy the new Nintendo Switch to play new Nintendo Switch games, that means people who don't want to upgrade and just want to keep their original Switch and still play the new games can do that. And for people who want a upgrade in the Nintendo Switch can buy the Switch Pro. That being said, a new dock is required then, since it's a 4K dock. And here's my question, will the current Nintendo Switch work with it or not? I've actually seen some of you guys questioning this as well. Most likely not, since this new Nintendo Switch will have new hardware in it. But again, this is all still rumors, so take everything with a grain of salt that I say in this video. With that being said, what do you think about this Nintendo Switch Pro rumor? Will you upgrade or will you stay with the current Nintendo Switch? Tell me your thoughts in the comment section below, and if you enjoyed this video, subscribe to RoboRob Gaming for more gaming news. Thanks for watching guys, and remember, stay safe, stay charged, and have a good one.